So we're going to change and we'll just go with ERC first. They can give their presentation, and then when MPD arrives, they can give their presentation. So you guys are welcome.
While the ERC is working their way up, I just want to remind everyone that either now or before you leave, it doesn't matter, please sign in on our sign-in sheet in the back. We just like to make sure that we keep a good record of who is here so we can contact you for future meetings, and if you have any other questions, suggestions, we want to be able to get them. Thanks.
Well, hello. As I said when I introduced myself, I'm Kat Taylor from the Equal Rights Center. I'm going to take a few minutes to tell you about the ERC generally, and then speak for a few minutes about the settlement agreement between DC and the ERC. And I honestly too might, unless Elaine's help with that a little bit, the work with DC agencies actually predates me at the Equal Rights Center, so it was something that took many, many years and a lot of work and a lot of effort to accomplish. So the Equal Rights Center is a 501c3 organization, and we work to end discrimination in employment, housing, public accommodations, and government services. And we do this through research, testing, advocacy, and enforcement, which basically just means like cases that we file in court. At the Equal Rights Center, we actually have several programs. They include our education outreach program, a testing program, housing, immigrant rights, and disability rights, which is the program that Ian and I work in. In our disability rights program, we receive complaints from individuals regarding discrimination they have faced in all sorts of areas. Housing, public accommodations, and lastly, government services, which is primarily what we'll be talking about today. A few years ago, the Equal Rights Center received complaints from individuals who would go to DC agencies and had interactions with the police department and were deaf and were not provided the appropriate auxiliary services to be able to communicate effectively. And as I'm sure all of you know, that of course the result of that can be very detrimental in a lot of ways. And so we, signed a settlement agreement back earlier in the summer of this year, which had a lot of parts to it. I'll sort of go through quickly. It provided for video remote interpreting services in the schools and the Department of Mental Health. There is also a contract stating that the district will provide sign language interpreter referral services so that when people come into the offices, a sign language interpreter will be provided. And that they are also supposed to train all people who work within the DC government that interact with the public how to utilize those services. And lastly, with the police department, and I understand that they'll be talking more later, so I'll just give a really brief overview. They also have a contract with the Sign Language Interpreter Referral Service, and they will maintain their deaf and hard of hearing liaison unit. They will also install video phones in each police station and substation to facilitate better communication. They will install and maintain 2 portable devices that can go with police officers if they are going to the scene, for example, for a domestic violence dispute or something like that.
Do you want that up?
And then again, I just wanted to say thank you so much for this invitation. I will attempt to answer any of your questions, and of course Elaine Gardner from the Washington Lawyers Committee is here as well. We are also a membership organization. We love to hear from our members. We would invite all of you to become members of the Equal Rights Center and become more involved with us. We have a membership meeting as well as publications that our members receive. Thank you. I'll take any questions.
Can you tell us how to become a member of the ERC?
Yeah, certainly. I have membership forms with me tonight that you can fill out. You can also visit our website and sign up online as well.
What is the
equalrightscenter.org.
That's my last one.
So what should Bethany, do? Should they go into a DC government agency, say the DC Public Service Commission, and they need assistance with something, and the agency doesn't provide the services that are, agreed upon under this agreement? Where do they go? What should they do?
Yeah, I think long-term, there's actually a formal complaint process that the DC government will set up for that. As far as right now, at this point in time, Elaine, I don't know if maybe exactly where we are in the settlement with that.
Maybe I can explain a little bit more. There's two different kinds of ways you might need an interpreter with DC. One is for like regular meetings, like for example, the food stamps meeting. You might have a few days' notice. So you ask for an interpreter, and if they have like 3-4 days' notice, they will get one through an interpreter referral service. It's fine. But sometimes you don't have that amount of time, and it's usually with the emergency kinds of agencies, like for example, mental health, or the police force, or even the public schools. So, for example, if you're a parent of a hearing child and your child gets into a fight and the school calls you, you want to be able to respond immediately. For those kinds of situations, the DC has VRI. It has 5 schools with VRI, which can be sent to any other school. CPEP, which is our mental health emergency response unit, they have VRI as well. And the police, as Kat said, have VRI. They also have an emergency interpreter referral service contract, so they can get an interpreter quickly. And then also they have those really neat VRI units in 2 police cars, which is the only one in the whole country like that. That's just really, really special. And then also, also the DC police have video phones in every police station. So you can go in and use the video phone. It's public in the police stations. That's nice also. So there's a couple different ways you can get interpreter services through this new settlement. And also in an emergency, like for example, maybe you need food stamps right away, and you can't wait the 4 days for an interpreter. Every agency is permitted to use their debit card to buy interpreter services, which is really special also, and that's something we negotiated hard for. So you should be able to get interpreter services, whether emergency or routine, pretty well from DC. However, if you can't, you can contact us.
What questions?
Because they're active and figure out how we can help. We have located 60 inmates across the nation that have attitude database people. We have contact staff at the facility. Arizona, Ohio, Wisconsin, Maryland, and other states that advocate on behalf of the deaf inmates. We have a system signed one contract and 5 mediators between deaf inmates and attorney and deaf inmates and we have local in other states. We communicate directly with the inmate, with the guide,